IMED 1316, Lab 2, links. Before we get started on Lab 2, the book introduces you to some new, more advanced templates. You'll recall we created a template as part of making our first web page. We're going to add a few new attributes to the body tag as we go forward. The primary emphasis of Lab 2 is links. There are 3 kinds of links. All links start with the same code, href equals, and then some value. There's some text for users to click on, and then the ending anchor tag. To make a local link, you take the same code and replace the blank value spot with the name of the file. To make an internet link, you take the same code and replace the blank value with the full URL, including the http://. To make a link to something on the same page, first you add a named anchor or bookmark at the point you wish to link to. This is done with a name equals and the name of the bookmark. There's no need for any text, and then the ending anchor tag. To make the link, add # and the name of the bookmark to the blank value section of the link structure. Here's an illustration of the 3 kinds of links. A link from your main page, called junk in this case, to another page called stuff. That's a local link. A link from your page to Google would be an internet link. And then if our page does not fit within the screen, we could add a link, say from the top of the page to the bottom, or the bottom of the page to the top. These are the goals of Lab 2, to make a file named page1.htm and a file named page2.htm. You'll notice the title of page 1 is page 1 spelled out. Recall, no spaces in file names, but titles you may type out in English. You'll have a headline that says link test 1. We notice that our text is black. We'll notice that our background is white. We're going to have a link from page 1 to page 2 and vice versa. Our page will be tall, so it will not fit in the screen. So we'll have a link from the bottom of the page to the top and from the top of the page to the bottom. On page 2, you'll notice that our background color is now yellow. And we're adding an additional link, an internet link to Temple College. Your book comes with a cheat sheet. It shows you how you can take your existing template or modify one of the new templates in the book to get started, such as by adding page 1 to the title tag. I'll start with one of these templates. In Notepad, for page 1, I need the title, page 1. Don't leave any extra spaces. My background color for page 1 was going to be white. My text color is going to be black. According to the directions in the book, my link color will also be black, but V-link will be navy. Please notice, no extra space between the quotation marks. The body tag starts here, the body tag ends here. Make sure all of these go between the 2 less than and greater than signs. File, save as, I'll go to my O drive, to my 1316 folder, and I've got a folder named Lab 2. Call this page1.htm. It may complain about changing the extension, but in this case, it's perfectly okay. Click Save. Looking back, I need link test 1 as a headline. Link test 1. This will be a headline size 2. Turn on the headline. Make sure you turn off the headline. I think it's a good time to save my changes. And then switch to the browser and actually open this page up. There's my title, and there's link test 1. Looking back, I will need some text to page 2, to bottom, and to top. I'll go ahead and do those now. To page 2, to bottom, to top. It says to add a lot of breaks. You may need 50 or 60 breaks. There's one break. I'll right-click and choose Copy. Right-click and choose Paste. Another way to paste is with Control-V. I'll simply hold down the Control key and press the V key until I have quite a few breaks. Save my changes. Switch to the browser and refresh. I like to use F5. Now I have a scroll bar. It requires me to scroll to see from top to bottom. I now need to make a link to page 2. To make a link, it's always a href equals, and then where you are linking to. You need some text. Here's our text. And then we need the ending anchor tag. To link to a file we have, we simply name the file. To link to the bottom of the page will require me to add a bookmark or a named anchor at the bottom of the page. And to link to the top of the page, I'll also need a named anchor at the top of the page. Here's the top of the page. Remember, the structure to name an anchor or a bookmark follows this format. I will name this anchor very top. Now to create the links to these bookmarks. To bottom. Remember, the standard link structure is a href equals, then some value, some text, and then the ending anchor tag. Since I'm linking to a different part of the page, since I'm doing something different, I put a £sign in. The name of that bookmark was very bottom. Spelling counts. It must match exactly. No uppercase, no lowercase mismatches. Now I need to create my link from the bottom of the page to the top of the page. Again, all links start with a href equals and some value. We have some text. We have the ending anchor tag. Since I'm staying on the same page, I add a bookmark with the $sign and then name the bookmark. Again, this much math exactly. Save my changes. I use Control-S. Switch to the browser. I like to use Alt-Tab. And then refresh with F5. I can click to bottom, it jumps to the bottom. I click on to top, it jumps to the top. Now the easiest way to create page 2 is to switch back to Notepad, do File, Save As, and rename this page 2. It has almost everything we need. I'll just borrow some code. We are now on page 2. going to be page 2. The background color is to be yellow. It shouldn't say link test 1, it should say link test 2. We're on page 2, so we don't want to link to page 2, we want to link to page 1. We have to tell it where to find page 1. Now we also need to add a link to Temple College. I'm just going to click right here and hit the Enter key a couple of times so I can have my link up near the top of the page. Remember, all links start href equals some value, some text, in this case, to TC. And then we have an ending anchor tag. The URL for Temple College at the moment is http://www.templejc.edu. Save my changes. Switch to the browser. Refresh. Recall from your book, link and vlink may not work until we get these moved to an actual web server. Let me test my link to page 2. It did in fact take me to page 2. Let's see if the link to page 1 works. Yes, it does. Does my link to bottom work? Does my link to top work? And finally, does my link to Temple College work? Now I can zip this up, drop it in the Dropbox, and I finished the hands-on portion of Lab 2.